Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the leader of the downtrodden people and the chief architect of Indian Constitution, the untouchables of India, the pariahs of Indian society who were plunged into realm of injustice and inequality, a degrading system which crippled the people from helping activity into social slavery. They lived the story of brutal social exploitation sanctioned by religion and sacred scripts of miseries imposed by inhuman social system. Apparently, there came a man who rendered his life to lift them up from the darkness of the millennia-old social brutality and injustice. The great son of India, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, gave self-respect and political rights to the millions of untouchables of India. The great man of masses was always surrounded by people. He was a fierce social rebel, yet a passionate reformist, a proud nationalist who would not compromise on the rights of the downtrodden. He was an iconic man who believed in the necessity of religion, a great intellectual whose various facets of personality is truly remarkable. His vision of social change, added with many efforts and strategies, helped build a society based on values of equality and liberty. The great man, revered nationally, indeed is a proponent of equality and social justice across the globe. Formative years. Ambedkar was born on April 14, 1891 in Mahu, a town and military cantonment in Madhya Pradesh Central Provinces. He was the 14th and the last child of Ramji Maloji Sakpal and Bhimabai Sakpal. His father was an army officer with the rank of Subedar. His family came from the Marathi town of Ambadve in Maharashtra's Ratnagiri district. Ambedkar was born into the Mahar caste, which was classified as untouchables and discriminated against socio-economically. Discrimination and humiliation followed Ambedkar everywhere he went, including at the army school administered by the British government. In 1906, when he was about 15 years old, he married a 9-year-old girl, Ramabai. Education. Baba Saheb did not let his limited background prevent him from obtaining a top-notch education and raising the standard for academic brilliance. In 1897, Ambedkar's family relocated to Mumbai, where he joined at Elphinstone High School as the only untouchable student. He passed his matriculation examination in 1907 and enrolled in Elphinstone College, which was affiliated with the University of Bombay, the following year. By 1912, he had earned a bachelor's degree in economics and political science from Bombay University and was preparing to work for the state administration of Baroda. Ambedkar moved to the United States when he was 22 years old. In 1913, he had been awarded a 3-year Baroda State Scholarship of €11.50 per month, which was intended to let him pursue postgraduate studies at Columbia University in New York City. He settled into rooms at Livingston Hall with Nawal Bhatena, a Parsi who would become a lifetime companion soon after arrival. In June 1915, he earned his MA with a major in economics and minors in sociology, history, philosophy, and anthropology. Ancient Indian Commerce was the title of his thesis. In 1916, he finished his second thesis for another MA, National Dividend of India, a historic and analytical study. He enrolled at Gray's Inn's Bar Course in October 1916, while also enrolling at the London School of Economics, where he began working on a PhD thesis. He returned to India in June 1917 after his Baroda scholarship expired. He returned as soon as he could and earned a master's degree in 1921. His thesis was titled The Rupee Problem, Its Origin and Solution. In 1923, he received a DSc in Economics from the University of London and Gray's Inn called him to the bar the same year. Career. He was appointed as the Gaekwad's military secretary, but he had to resign after only a few months. In 1918, he accepted a position as professor of political economy at Mumbai's Sydenham College of Commerce and Economics. The Southborough Committee, which was drafting the Government of India Act 1919, had invited Ambedkar to speak. Ambedkar pushed for separate electorates and reserved for untouchables and other religious minorities at this hearing. He started publishing the weekly Mukh Nayak in Mumbai in 1920. Ambedkar then went on to work as a lawyer. In 1926, he successfully defended 3 non-Brahmin politicians who were charged for libel after accusing the Brahmin group of wrecking India. He tried to promote education and uplift untouchables while practicing law in the Bombay High Court. His first organized effort was the founding of the Bahishkrit Hitkarni Sabha, a major institution dedicated to promoting education and socio-economic progress among the poor. He was appointed to the Bombay Presidential Committee to work with Simon's European Commission in 1925. In 1927, Ambedkar had decided to launch active movements against untouchability. In 1930, Ambedkar launched the Kalaram Temple movement after 3 months of preparation. About 15,000 volunteers gathered in the Satyagraha of the Kalaram Temple in one of the greatest processions in Nashik. POONA Pact. In 1932, the British colonial government announced the formation of a separate electorate for the depressed classes in the communal award. Mahatma Gandhi fiercely opposed a separate electorate for the untouchables, saying he feared such a deal would split the Hindu community. On September 25, 1932, the agreement known as the POONA Pact was signed between Ambedkar on behalf of the depressed classes among the Hindus and Madan Mohan Malviya on behalf of the other Hindus. The agreement reserved seats for depressed classes in the provisional legislatures within the general electorate. The depressed classes were referred to as the untouchables among the Hindus, who were later called scheduled caste and scheduled tribes under the India Act 1935 and the subsequent Indian Constitution. In the Pact of Poona, a unified electorate was in principle formed, but the primary and secondary elections allowed the untouchables to choose their own candidates in practice. Political activity. In 1935, Ambedkar was appointed director of the Government Law College in Bombay, a post he held for 2 years. He was also chairman of the board of directors of Ramjas College, University of Delhi, following the death of its founder Sri Rai Kedarnath. In 1936, Ambedkar founded the Independent Labour Party, which contested Bombay's 1937 election to the Central Legislative Assembly for the 13 reserved seats and 4 general seats, and won 11 and 3 seats respectively. Ambedkar published his book Annihilation of Caste on May 15, 1936. He strongly criticized Hindu orthodox religious leaders and the caste system in general. Meanwhile, Ambedkar also struggled against the khoti system prevalent in Konkan, where courts or government revenue collectors routinely exploited farmers and tenants. In 1937, Ambedkar introduced a bill in the Bombay legislature to abolish the khoti system by creating a direct relationship between government and farmers. Ambedkar served on the Defence Advisory Committee and the Executive Council of Viceroys as Minister of Labour. After the Muslim League's Lahore resolution demanding Pakistan, Ambedkar wrote a 400-page tract entitled Thoughts on Pakistan, which analyzed the concept of Pakistan in all its aspects. In his book, Who Were the Shudras?, Ambedkar attempted to explain the formation of the untouchables. He saw Shudras and Ati-Shudras, who formed the lowest caste in the ritual hierarchy of the caste system, separated from the untouchables. Ambedkar oversaw the transformation of his political party into the Federation of Programmed Caste, although he performed poorly in the 1946 elections for the Constituent Assembly of India. He was elected a member of the Bengal Constituent Assembly, where the Muslim League was in power. Drafting the Indian Constitution. India's rendezvous with fate, of which Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru spoke eloquently at the fateful hour of India's independence, saw Dr. Ambedkar entrusted with a monumental responsibility. He was appointed chairman of the Constitutional Drafting Committee on August 29, 1947. The text prepared by Ambedkar offered constitutional guarantees and protections for a wide range of civil liberties for individual citizens, including freedom of religion, abolition, untouchability, and the prohibition of all forms of discrimination. Ambedkar advocated for extended economic and social rights for women and won the support of the Assembly for the introduction of a job reservation system in the civil service, schools, and colleges for members of the scheduled caste and tribes and other backward classes. A system akin to action. Indian lawmakers hoped to eradicate socio-economic inequalities and the lack of opportunities for India's disadvantaged classes through these measures. The Constitution was adopted on November 26, 1949 by the Constituent Assembly. Ambedkar opposed Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, which granted special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. During the debates in the Constituent Assembly, Ambedkar demonstrated his willingness to reform Indian society by recommending the adoption of a uniform civil code. Ambedkar resigned from cabinet in 1951 when Parliament blocked his Hindu Code Bill, which sought to enshrine gender inequality in inheritance and marriage laws. He was appointed to the upper house of Parliament, the Rajya Sabha, in March 1952 and would remain as member till death. Transfiguration to Buddhism. Around 1950, he began to focus on Buddhism and traveled to Ceylon, Sri Lanka to attend a meeting of the World Buddhist Brotherhood. He visited Burma twice in 1954. The second time to participate in the third conference of the World Buddhist Brotherhood in Rangoon. In 1955, he founded the Bharatiya Bodh Mahasabha or Buddhist Society of India. In 1956, he completed his last work, The Buddha and His Dharma, which was published posthumously. After meeting with the Sri Lankan Buddhist monk Hamalwa Sadatissa, Ambedkar organized an official public ceremony for himself and his supporters in Nagpur on October 14, 1956. Having traditionally accepted the 3 refugees and the 5 commandments from a Buddhist monk, Ambedkar made his own conversion. Death. Since 1948, Ambedkar suffered from diabetes. He was bedridden from June to October 1954 due to the side effects of drugs and poor eyesight. In 1955, his health deteriorated. Ambedkar died in his sleep on December 6, 1956 at his home in Delhi. On December 7, a Buddhist cremation was organized on Dadar Chowpatty beach, in which 500,000 mourners took part. The conversion program was organized on December 16, 1956, so that the participants in the cremation were also converted to Buddhism at the same place. Views and opinions. He viewed Hinduism as an oppressive religion and began to consider converting to any other religion. Ambedkar saw Christianity as incapable of fighting injustice. Ambedkar considered Shudras Aryan and vehemently rejected the Aryan invasion theory, describing it as so absurd that it should have died long. Ambedkar's views on communism were expressed in his essay Buddhism and Communism. He accepted the Marxist theory that the exploitation of the privileged few causes the masses to perpetuate poverty and its problems. Ambedkar believed in a classless society, but also believed that the state will exist as long as society and should be actively developing. Legacy. Ambedkar's legacy as a social and political reformer has had a profound impact on modern India. Ambedkar was voted Greatest Indian in 2012 according to a poll organized by History TV 18 and CNN IBN ahead of Patel and Nehru. On April 2, 1967, a 3.66 meter tall statue of Ambedkar was installed in the Indian Parliament. In 1990, Ambedkar was posthumously awarded the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian decoration. Ambedkar's legacy includes many memorials and depictions in popular culture also. Conclusion. The chief architect of Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, is truly the maker of modern India devoid of religious inequalities and social brutalities against underprivileged. The man who lived for the cause of the downtrodden people, he indeed is an inspiration to millions of people. A selfless life, the glimpses of which itself creates immense pride and respect for the great son of India. The leadership of Dr. Ambedkar can't untouch and discriminate against all forms of discrimination. An ardent advocate of the rights of women, minorities, and the marginalized in the society. Baba Saheb's innumerable contributions in shaping a modern inclusive India are truly remarkable. While Dr. Ambedkar's accomplishments were widely manifold and overlapping, his inner life was richer and marked by spiritual vitality.